about the Michael Saylor related. Michael Saylor is the biggest Bitcoin maximalist in the world, owning the owner and not owner but CEO and founder of the MicroStrategy, whose business is 100% dependent on Bitcoin, and his agenda is to destroy, kill all the other cryptocurrencies. And on my video, there's a little hint for you guys if you want to check it. This is a 5-minute video. I explained that how he's conflicting with the real actual news and truth, what's happening in the markets. That he says that no one in the Wall Street will even touch any of the cryptocurrencies. It will never be no other exchange traded funds than Bitcoin will never be on cryptocurrencies, and that's not true. It's just and it's just that the Bitcoin is the only one. We don't need anything else. And if you think like only 2 seconds and think what he's doing, but what his business is Bitcoin, nothing else. And if it's
all right, so welcome everyone to another episode of Pekka Talks. Assalamu alaikum. Today we have with us Pekka Kelkka. And again, perfect. I hope I said it right. Fantastic. Yes. Pekka is a seasoned advisor, educator, and strategist in the blockchain and Web3 ecosystem with over 25 years of experience in global markets. As the founder of Papa Blockchain, which I love the name, he offers tailored consultancy services to companies worldwide, specializing in Web3 strategy, blockchain business consultancy, and NFTs. Pekka is also an active educator, which is why he's here with us today, running a popular Web3 education YouTube channel. Do you want to give a shout out? What's the name of the channel?
It is Web3 Education Channel by Papa
Okay,
Blockchain.
It's exactly called Web3 Education. That's the name of the channel.
Web3 Education Channel by Papa Blockchain.
There you go. Web3 Education Channel by Papa Blockchain, and is passionate about driving innovation and democratizing access to decentralized technologies. So beautiful. Papa, I'm calling you Papa now. Can I call you Papa?
Is good. Papa is good.
Papa Pekka, tell us your story from your point of view.
Wow, but I need to cut quite many corners because I'm a little bit older guys than you both are. But first of all, I started my online career and my IT career in 1994 when the first commercial browser Netscape was launched. At that time we built websites to companies, but quite soon we moved from there to integration. We integrated databases and legacy systems to browser technology. And then we wanted to jump into mobile application development when that was a hot thing, when everybody was waiting with 3G to come, early 2000, and we started to build those applications, still on Web 2, Web 2.5. Unfortunately, we needed to wait 7 more years when the 3G was there with us. But that's my kind of in brief before. Then there's years in between when I exported businesses from Europe, mainly from Finland, northern countries and Nordic countries, Europe to Middle East. But I came across with 2016. I came across with an interesting paper that kicked this everything off. The paper is Ethereum white paper, because I come from the enterprise software side of the IT business. It was crazy read for me because finally we have this kind of a system that will cut off all the unnecessary and expensive middlemen from the process, and we build the trust again. So as we all know, we've been seeing, it's all about the trustless, permissionless, borderless network. These beautiful words was a kind of execution of this technology. And I started to research as much as I can. A couple of months I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, I didn't drink. I just studied as much as I could. And that time it was the first wave of blockchain cryptos in Dubai that time. By the way, I have lived in Dubai 17 years. And I started to go these meetups. And because I'm quite talkative person, I was so interested in understanding as much as I can. I started to ask many questions, and quite soon I found myself being on stage instead of being in the audience. So that was kind of kick off of everything. And 2017 in the summer, I joined my first project. It was a halal chain based on blockchain technology, and since those days I've been working with quite many projects on different roles. Strategy always my kind of my baby on every project I've been into.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm actually fascinated by what you just said now. You said in 2017, you joined your first halal blockchain project.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. That's interesting because we have today a couple of these things coming up, and in fact, it's been done before.
Let me start from that perspective. What you just said, that halal is coming big time now. That definitely everything is about the Islamic finance is coming big time to this ecosystem, and I'm also related to one real world asset Islamic finance project. But yes, halal chain was as the name says, it was supposed to be a halal proved halal blockchain, which is according to halal products and production of everything and kind of supply chain. But unfortunately, because I must just jump in the process a little bit later, I was advisor for this project, and they did not do so good decisions when it comes to protocol itself and some other things that it didn't function that way that it was supposed to be, like real good project, and they couldn't execute it. But then they changed to other blockchain projects. But the main reason 2017 that it really did not kick off and it was not executed the way it was planned. Technology was so raw that time. It was totally different than today. The same development like internet. If you think the early phases of the internet, what could you do there? Like website only and slow modems to open the websites and only emails, nothing else. And we have developed so far away from that time. I believe this time, if someone wants to develop a halal technology, halal based supply chain, it could work. Seriously.
No, yeah, I think you have a point there. I'm going to bring Murad into the conversation right now. I think among us, between us, Murad and myself, we always hear like, why halal blockchain, right? How is this different from just Bitcoin or Ethereum? Are we saying that Ethereum is not halal?
Yeah, I mean, I always had this kind of thinking, is that, it's like saying that a car is halal or not halal. A car by definition is halal, so you're driving a car, or even a freeway. Let's assume a freeway. So there's nothing wrong with a freeway in terms of halal or not halal. What could be maybe non-halal if it's using the freeway to shoot at people? Maybe that could be the non-halal way, or robbering people on this freeway, okay, or any other thing. So by definition, for me, when I look at blockchain in general, especially in particularly Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchain, by definition, the technology and underlying technology is halal. There's no problem with that. Is what the use of this blockchain is being used for. If it's maybe if you're doing interest-bearing loan on Ethereum, then it's not halal, and then you have to dissociate this application within the network. Okay, but overall, or using blockchain for different I would say illicit or halal project on the blockchain. But it's like same thing if you're talking about internet by definition is halal. Now if you are using internet for promoting bad things, is non-halal product, and gambling and so on and so forth, and you name it, then it becomes also an issue. And that's my always my struggle when somebody say I'm building a halal blockchain solution. I'm always puzzled to hear that kind of reasoning. So I would like to hear from your side what you think about that.
Well, of course, I'm not the expert on Islamic finance, not even Islamic finance or Islamic religion, and halal and haram type of things, opposite to each other. That much as I know. But of course, because this big thing what we have is supposed to be like a new currency financial system. And when we're talking whole system of currencies, financials, and the it also includes a lot of different kind of procedures like lending and borrowing, and interest is also something that is really hot topic and one of the most important things in Islamic finance, if I got it right. And how this lending borrowing on the decentralized finance platforms that are built on blockchain protocols, how it works. There is interest. There's people who are lending the liquidity providers, LPs, on these different decentralized finance platforms. They will get interest from those people that are borrowing it. So there's automated mechanism to generate yield, which is passive income, but this comes from those borrowed currencies. So that's something that, of course, I'm not expert on this, but that may be something that people can think that is it halal or not. But other than that, it is as Morad, you said, it's the next version of internet. When you're talking about blockchain, it's just more democratized. It's people, everybody can join it the way they want, and of course it is also a money making opportunity, because you can position yourself in so many roles. And if you think also the halal way, which again I'm not an expert, but when I'm thinking of how I use blockchain itself, because I come again from more on the enterprise side of the IT than anything else. So that's why Ethereum was so close to me, closer than Bitcoin. Even today, closer than Bitcoin. Ethereum is closer than Bitcoin to me. But and then if because there's new consensus mechanism validating those transactions with proof of stake, and I deposit my cryptos, my tokens and coins on these decentralized protocols, blockchains. And because my tokens are coins are data on the blockchain, the blockchain is so kind to me that it provides me yield. So I'm not taking anybody's money. It's this technology's application that pays me money, pays me income. And it's passive income because it's the tokens and coins that I owned, but I'm giving them to work for me on the blockchain. And I believe this is quite interesting to know from both of you, that how do you see it? This is so halal to me. Nothing can be more halal than
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
because it
No,
is.
I agree. I agree 100% on the passive income. Earning extra income using blockchain technology and stuff like that. And I totally agree. And that's why, as alhamdulillah, as Muslim, what we try to differentiate and what we try to look at the way to produce wealth through passive income. As you know, there is different proof of stake. You have liquidity provisioning. You have also borrowing and lending that's happening on Ethereum, as you mentioned. And what we try to do, us as Muslims, we say, hey, there's certain way of earning a passive income that is halal, and other ways that could be problematic for us as Muslims. So when we look at the lending mechanisms, for example, lending borrowing mechanisms, as Muslim, we cannot touch it,
Yeah.
especially on the internet network. When we look at proof of stake, there's a proof of stake as well, is that the people who are kind of validating the nodes, and they are validated, they are kind of becoming a witness of a non-Sharia compliance transaction that is based maybe on riba, on interest. And that is also something that we cannot touch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this debate, some people say, oh, but I'm not taking the interest, I'm just validating, I'm just being a witnessing a wrong procedure or act in Islam is forbidden. You know, if I'm a witness of something that is not a contract or whatever that is bearing like interest, I cannot witness that. Okay, it's totally not allowed, even as a validator.
But
And that's the beauty of it now. The
yeah,
beauty of it is what is that we can.
this is so interesting. Can I
Yes.
maybe change to other
Yeah.
topic, particular this thing, because how I explain this to not everybody, Muslims, non-Muslims, any religion, people who are interested in this technology and opportunities. What I'm saying is that this is the fairest mechanism of earning, because actually, when we're talking a fundamental layer, blockchain protocols and validating transactions, you're dealing with the IT infrastructure. You're not dealing. There's no middleman saying that you get this loan, you don't get this loan, you don't get this, you get this much interest or less interest. If you position your tokens and coins on the same protocol, it is a written on the go code itself, that you are billionaire, you are poor, you're anything in between, they pay you same amount of interest, and it's not getting from any third party, because it comes from the data from the infrastructure itself and how it's built. It's built the way that what I deposit there as my token, as I said already, it is data, and this data provides security, and this data validates the transaction. There's no one that will actually benefit from my token other than everybody who's on the chain, everybody who's using the chain, everybody who's building on the chain, everybody who's positioned themselves in different positions like node operators or other validators or anything. The more secure it is, the more tokens and coins there is, more secure it is, it's better for everybody. And I'm happy to say, just very recently, like a couple of days ago, we jumped over a very interesting number on Ethereum ecosystem, because now we have more than 1 million token process validators on transaction validators on Ethereum ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. That's why I'm saying, we are in line. I just try to position a little bit where, the Muslim community can fit into this beautiful opportunity.
Yes.
As you mentioned, technology is there. There's a lot of things that we can do. For example, liquidity provisioning, okay, in staking mechanism, it's totally halal. Why? Because we are using we're taking a fee of every single transaction that are taking place. And that's where actually we as Muslim and Takadao in particular, we are putting our effort in. We kind of let go of the other liquidity staking type of mechanism and going back to liquidity provisioning.
Right.
And that's so much we can do in that regard.
Yes.
And we can just collect a fee. And the transaction fee actually it's rewarding because there's no interest bearing in that mechanism, and that makes everybody happy. The funny thing is that sometimes we're getting so much great yield out of this liquidity provisioning that some people say, wow, how are you able to generate that amount of yield? And I say the guy must not be in DeFi or might not be. So they are usually coming from traditional finance, and when they see something so exciting, so big, they're starting to freak out, which is, they have a reason why they are freaking out, because they never get that amount of yield in the traditional finance.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. And then what we see, and I try to explain them, the reward mechanism, why the token is being given some incentive for you to buy it. And that's why the yield doesn't last that long. The high yield doesn't last that long, but it's happening in and out. But I'd love to hear more on that liquidity provisioning experience that you feel, and then share your story. Yeah, you go.
So to add to that, and to really present, I want to say, the Muslim point of view, you mentioned, Pekka, that Islamic finance is really growing in the Web3 space, and I want to 100% echo that. And I'll tell you why, because as Muslims, we've traditionally been excluded from the financial services industry, right? Because of interest. Because the entire infrastructure for financial services and banking and insurance is all based on interest. So it's really hard to participate without actually being touched by it. However, when it comes to Web3 and the blockchain and cryptocurrencies, there's a whole new infrastructure there that we can manipulate. It's programmable money. Now we can decide how to design these financial services that eschew interest, that we can not deal with interest, and then build Islamic finance from ground up, from scratch. And this is why I think this space is heating up. It's very exciting for us. Now, to change gears a little bit, obviously, what we've talked about, whether it's Islamic finance and building a new infrastructure, whether it's Ethereum as a decentralized protocol, none of this is going to make the incumbents happy. So Governments are freaking out all over the world because clearly, they are not able to control their money supply anymore. Banks and insurance companies likewise, because, they are currently the ones who are controlling essentially the money supply and increasing the money supply to a large extent. And so, they're losing this control. And in our case, we're trying to disrupt the insurance industry by disintermediating the insurance company altogether. Now, I've been stalking your YouTube channel and your LinkedIn posts, and I know you're very outspoken about the role government has to play. So talk to us a little bit about what's happening in the US right now with SECs, the attacks. Talk to us about CBDCs and that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, this question, that's like 3-day seminar. This one question, but let's start with the SEC and US and the again, this is my personal view. And first of all, nothing is financial advice or any kind of advice. Do your own research. I'm just speaking on my experience and how I understand these things as personal view. But of course, you can test it and challenge me. I would like to be challenged. But SEC is unfortunately, it has become, my view is that SEC has become a political institution. They try to, they're not, if you think that only 1.5 years ago, there were more than 50 million cryptocurrency holders, owners, traders in the USA. It's a huge number. Of course, some of them passed in just testing, but they had just touched and they most of them were holding and keeping their coins and trading with them. 50 million, maybe 60, 70 million, maybe 100 million. I don't know today the current numbers. And SEC's role is to protect the investors. And now they 100% bypassing this particular part of the population that wants to have this kind of opportunity, this new monetary system, this new currency system, and do honest trading and again, trustless networks and permissionless networks. But then it's very interesting what's happening there, and it's not even behind the scenes, because of course many people think that BlackRock, as the biggest the asset manager in the world, some people are saying more than $10 trillion worth of assets under management. Some give other numbers, but biggest, I'd say. And then they jumped into this wagon a little bit more than a year ago when CNBC interviewed CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, and he mentioned that all the securities will be tokenized. And some people actually understood this a little bit wrong, because he was not saying that cryptocurrencies will be there with us and so forth. He was said that this blockchain technology will help us to faster, cheaper transactions, and also the owning process because it's a transparent network. But he was also not clear in that moment. Was he referring to private blockchains, permissioned chains, which means that there's a central entity managing and controlling everything that happens on the chain? They are controlling, managing the nodes, i.e. servers, and also transactions. They can go back with the transactions. It's not immutable environment like public chain is. And then and something crazy happened just like 2 months ago when all of a sudden BlackRock again came out introducing their first tokenized fund. And I really wanted to understand as much as I can about this particular platform because it was built on public blockchain, Ethereum public blockchain. So there's a decentralized technology securing the transactions, validating the transactions. Although very important to understand, it is fully regulated platform. The asset on the platform is called BUIDL, B-U-I-D-L, BUIDL. I don't know how to pronounce it. It comes from different words, but it is security. It is security. It's one-to-one backed up with the dollar and fully regulated. Again, now, if you do the transactions there, because I have deposited my Ethereum on the chain itself, every time build platform makes the transactions, they pay me little ether because I'm validating transactions like me have 1 million other validators. But then it's something real even more interesting happened week after that, or 2 weeks after that launch. They have, by the way, they have the $400 million now assets on the platform already, and they're kind of testing it more or less. But they announced that they allow withdrawals on Build platform with USDC, USD coin, which is not regulated stable coin, backed up one-to-one with the dollar again, but not regulated because stable coin. It's different from Build, which is regulated on the platform asset for BlackRock. But now I don't know why they came out with this, and they chose this solution. Of course, it provides them much more liquidity because USDC is much used, and it is a USDC is part of the BlackRock ecosystem itself.
Sorry, Pekka, can I just interrupt you? Can I because I'm trying to understand what this builder thing is. So it's tokenized security, if I understand. So
Yes.
is it something like they have a bunch of securities that BlackRock is, managing, and then they've tokenized these so that people can invest in these same portfolio on chain as well? Is that what that means?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But it's only for institutionals at the moment. I mean, the minimum is $5 million or something. It is really like closed system, closed mechanism. But the most important thing for all of us to understand, instead of them launching it at private Ethereum blockchain, that could have been option, but they wanted to go public, and that's something that Larry Fink, again, Ethereum strategy, is saying. They believe in public blockchain. We're still dealing only with securities as asset-wise, but the underlying technology is a public blockchain. And that's something that is hugely important for us to understand. And that's the huge step forward when we're talking, okay, what are the assets like these digital virtual assets that will be regulated and licensed for different jurisdictions? My wild guess is that USDC will be the official stable coin in the USA. Maybe BlackRock has a little thing to do with it. but yeah, and again, if you think that the SEC is attacking everybody from left and right and up and down, suing these coins and tokens and exchanges and stuff, and now BlackRock just decided that okay, we allow people to withdraw with the USDCs, the withdrawals on our decentralized blockchain protocol platform. So it's interesting what's happening there. It's something that really SEC cannot say anything. They don't want to say anything. I don't know.
So it's really the I would say the weaponization of US dollars indirectly, because if you go back to the USDC, you go back to the US dollars, and maybe it's to keep the legitimacy of the US dollars the main currency again back. So you kick them out by the doors, they come back by the windows somehow.
I'm this is exactly right. Again, I hope that people don't get me right. I'm not supporting BlackRock. I'm not supporting these kind of dinosaurs who are controlling too much of our lives already. Government, central banks, and BlackRocks of the world, they're controlling too much of us. And now, but then again, we cannot take this phenomenon with these assets and procedures and mechanisms, platforms to the mainstream without the biggest money in the world. We just need to know how to deal with this, how to build these kind of systems and mechanisms that everybody can benefit. Again, fair way, not hurting everybody, legal way, regulated way, licensed way, and how we get there is it takes time, but step by step. Again, major step that build tokenized fund is built on public Ethereum.
So if I'm reading between the lines from what you're saying, I'm hearing actually it's not the SEC calling the shots, it's BlackRock calling the shots. There's again, yeah, go ahead.
I immediately interfere. Good correction. Actually, they are opposite camps. SEC is with some political interest groups, try to protect US dollar attacking on just even the technology, not just coins and tokens and these platforms that are allowing them to trade them, but the technology. And then as BlackRock says that, well, you guys play, that's your sandbox, this is our sandbox, and let's see who's going to win. so and again, BlackRock's power is so immense. I don't see that we know what happened with the Bitcoin already, and that, by the way, that's important to understand now. I'm also I just published.
We'll be right back after the break.
Tekka Talks brings you stories from around the world that will help you understand how crypto and Islamic finance can change our lives for the better. Subscribe and follow to keep learning.
I just published like half an hour ago about the Michael Saylor related. Michael Saylor is the biggest Bitcoin maximalist in the world, owning the owner and not owner but CEO and founder of the MicroStrategy, whose business is 100% dependent on Bitcoin. And his agenda is to destroy, kill all the other cryptocurrencies. And on my video, there's a little hint for you guys if you want to check it. This is a 5-minute video. I explained that how he's conflicting with the real actual news and truth, what's happening in the markets. That he says that no one in the Wall Street will even touch any of the cryptocurrencies. It will never be no other exchange traded funds than Bitcoin will never be on cryptocurrencies, and that's not true. It's just and it's just that the Bitcoin is the only one. We don't need anything else. And if you think like only 2 seconds and think what he's doing, what his business is Bitcoin, nothing else. And if it's 100% something, you do everything that you can to get as much market exposure and money for yourself and your investors and stuff. It's not that it's unfair, or it's not working, or it's not providing the benefits that it should provide. It's only money for Michael Saylor, nothing else, and he's doing it absolutely wrong. At the end of the video, I asked that if you now, when you hear these things that BlackRock applied already last November, the Ethereum ETF, same as ARK Invest, Fidelity, same thing, and JP Morgan is now launching and testing and soon launching their fund on Avalanche, and then Visa is already with Solana. So and he knows these things. He's not a stupid guy, but he wants to give this narrative that everything else is scam, only Bitcoin. And he even puts this name on his own videos, which I put a little clip. He's claiming that not Fidelity, not BlackRock, not anybody else will touch this how they call this, like, well, scam coins. And the you go to the next page on news or next clip on the news, and there you go. BlackRock is doing this, Fidelity is doing this, ARK Invest is doing this with the other coins, other protocols. And instead of having this kind of maximalism ideology, why don't you go like, let's try to work together, let's try to make this for everybody, give options to everybody. This kind of environment where you can on transaction, it's automatically you can decide what blockchain you're using or how you're bridging from protocol to protocol, as fair as possible environment. And this is something that I'm happy to say that there are these guys who are understanding this and developing it very, very fast now. And that's also these guys, some of these guys are understanding that also we need TradFi here big time. And they're developing a system, which is, by the way, called verifiable internet.
So do you think that Michael Saylor is afraid of the Bitcoin? Because we all know that the supremacy in a cryptocurrency is led by Bitcoin. There's no doubt about that. It's a very good blockchain has never been hacked, and it has been doing very, very well. But do you feel that guys like him who have a lot of stake or equity in that currency are afraid of a better, let's say, technology that could kind of replace them eventually in the future? Or is it something that they have in mind? If they're so afraid, what do you think it's behind scene of?
Very, very short answer with a three-letter word that starts with Y. Yes. So the as I but that's again my view. I'm saying that people can have different views. I have my view. That's based on my research, based on understanding what's happening in the markets, reading other news sources than Michael Saylor's videos, and then what's happening in real life on blockchain. But if you think it's simple, it's very simple to understand that if my business is depending on one product, my value of my company is one product only. And then all of a sudden, if other products will come into the picture that provide the same or even more variety of services, and they will be interesting opportunity option for my investors to take my money that they put in me to invest on those things. But he's doing it wrong way. He's trying to. I use the word alternative truth there on my video, and the yeah, that's how I see it. And another thing also with what's happening. I started my actually LinkedIn post that I love Bitcoin. I love all the other good coins with good utility and good foundation. I love all of them. I'm not in the meme coins because I don't understand it. I love utility. I love the foundation and the solid technology. But then what's happening on Bitcoin now? When the halving happened, well, the production was cut in half again on Bitcoin, 19th of last month. Same day, the new Bitcoin protocol was launched, which is called Runes, RUNES. And now it allows, because BRC20, these non-fungible Satoshis, were launched earlier already. So you could build something on Bitcoin protocol itself, and it was really popular. And now this Runes technology allows to build any kind of technology on Bitcoin. And there's a little clip also on my video where the one Runes developer project, which is called Sovereign, they explain that Runes will be like ERC20. So you can build actually anything on Bitcoin now. Of course, there are some limitations because when Runes was launched, do you guys did you have time to follow the markets that time? How much was the price was the one transaction on Runes?
No, I did not follow, but I did know about the launch of Runes.
More than $2,000.
Yes. So I did read that, now you have coins on Bitcoin. That was the thing that I learned.
Sharing exactly, and now I'm writing and I'm putting on my video now. Michael Saylor is shooting his own foot now. He's shooting himself in the foot because of he's saying that all these applications, this DeFi, there's only like Bitcoin value and faster transactions with the Lightning Network, and this is all we need. And now he's also, by the way, developing now all kinds of applications. For example, Decentralized ID on Bitcoin. He's building now himself. And what do they need? They need transactions. They need smart contracts there. So and if you have this kind of system, it provides you yield. And DeFi is coming there. Yeah, there are DeFi platforms already today on Bitcoin. So all this put together. So even I don't know how Michael Saylor can manage to explain this without conflicting himself. He cannot do it.
The funny thing is there's a huge Bitcoin maximalist movement, as you've just pointed to. And I've always found that to be a little strange, right? Because what I say to the Bitcoin maximalists when they talk about, they will criticize Ethereum. They'll say, oh, it's not really decentralized, blah, blah, blah. And Bitcoin is, etc. But when I say to them, look, you cannot build anything on Bitcoin, right? Because you can't do smart contracts. You can't, a lot of this technology is just not possible on Bitcoin. And so if you truly want to build a decentralized financial future, you're gonna need something else besides Bitcoin. And this is exactly apparently what they think too. But nonetheless, they still want to, talk about this maximalist viewpoint, which is very strange. So I'm with you on this. We're gonna a little bit shift the conversation because I do want to hear your thoughts on CBDCs. Now, I have it on good authority that lots of countries around the world are pretty upset with the United States for weaponizing the US dollar, as Murad was talking about. And first of all, they were upset with inflation, but they didn't mind that so much because they were all buddies and they were like, yeah, we're gonna support this printing of money somehow, even though it devalues our own currency. But nevertheless, we want to protect the government's right to print currency. So they were annoyed, but they didn't really move. But what sort of was the straw that broke the camel's back was when the US dollar was weaponized against Russia due to the Ukrainian conflict. And so now lots of countries are saying, well, we want to de-dollarize. And it seems to me like their go-to strategy at this point is really to issue CBDCs as a first step to say, take a little bit of sovereignty away from the United States. What are your thoughts there?
If you don't mind, let me, first of all, I want to stay away from politics, all kinds of politics. But to me, the only good option, which is technically available today, is the fair money, which means that let people choose freely under the same circumstances, laws, regulations, choose freely regulated, licensed money. And if this is the kind of framework of new monetary system, that's a good foundation to build it on. And if someone wants to use government money, which can be in a digital form, which can be decentralized, CBDC, central bank digital currency form, it's okay. But one thing I really hope that this kind of education, what you people are doing, thank you so very much on your channel. I try to do on my channels and on my speeches, that CBDC can be implemented two different ways. It can be the kind of some governments are doing it already on a private chain, on the permissioned blockchain. So they control everything on the chain. Or they can do it BlackRock way. Again, I'm not, as I already mentioned about BlackRock, they are too big. I don't like them, but they are what they are. But they decided to go public blockchain. This is a good sign. Also, maybe for the governments. And if on top of that type of thing, if you tokenize like any fiat currency as RWS, a real world asset, and put that on a chain, it's competing with maybe some other stable coins which can be launched later on, which are not government related, or something else, or they can be Bitcoin, or they can be Ethereum, or something else. But let people choose. If you have this kind of option, that I because now it's borderless again. When talking about blockchain, it's borderless, and let's assume this happens. I don't know, someday that we will have certain number of different kind of cryptocurrencies, virtual assets, digital assets, and the government money, and people decide what they want to use. Then it's a fair game. Then government says, okay, we provide you these benefits, this and this and that, and then these guys who want to go decentralized way want to have these ecosystems, communities doing these kind of trades. And of course, there are rates to trade with each other and so forth. But if this can be the future monetary system, I'm so happy. But I don't see that that's happening at least soon. But while going there, CBDCs, at this point, I want everybody to understand that CBDCs, the government money, central bank money, that can be implemented two different ways, which are totally different from each other, 180 different. And if you think that if you have this permissioned closed loop chain, which government is controlling everything that happens there, the software, the hardware, the connections, networks, everything government controls. And what's happening now, they are including and embedding our digital ID on the same system. So it means that they control not just our money, but they control everything related to us. And the technology allows them to spy us, our network and connections and everything. And on one click, they can cut out us from the society. But if it's on the public chain, one option of the currency, and people can start to use them or other currencies, and then they can try to put the IDs there. But then maybe some other people, some clever guys, and okay, let's start to use like Michael Saylor Bitcoin ID solution or Vitalik Buterin and his team on ID, decentralized ID on there. And again, how I see this, I mentioned this kind of magic words to me a couple of minutes ago, verifiable internet. And this is very important. How I see this is developing towards this, and this is the big phase. It's not Web3, it's maybe not even Web 2.5, but it's verifiable internet, which means that off-chain data, the huge amount of off-chain data, which must be off-chain. For example, banks and big financial institutions, they have the mainframe, big computers still there and databases. They never put everything on chain. It's impossible. It can't even handle it. As we understand today. So, but we need to have the mechanism that it's verifying everything that is everywhere, that this data, these people, these transactions, these tokens and coins, these currencies, these transactions will be verified on blockchain. And if verification happens on blockchain, it's decentralized, it's immutable, it's trustless, it's computer code that is verified, cryptographically verified truth. Verifiable internet will be cryptographically verified truth. And then it can go back to off-chain. But nothing that we can touch can be verified on-chain. And this is a beautiful mechanism. We're using Oracle technologies from these government systems and banking systems to take that on-chain. And then you can even use DeFi systems there and get immediate loans and stuff, whatever you want to use. That's technically already there. So it's regulations, it's understanding. Of course, a lot needs to happen on user experience and user interface and these kind of things. But it's developing fast. Technically, these mechanisms, these procedures exist.
So I wanted to give Murad an opportunity to touch a little bit on because you said you want to stay away from politics, but he loves politics. So did you want to add something on the CBDC piece?
No, Pekka made a very good point. Again, is a freedom of choice, and that's what is missing on the equation here. Is ability for people to decide what they want for themselves. What I'm afraid, though, is this centralized CBDC, or they might go through a decentralized mean at the beginning, and then Big Brother come back and centralize, because 99% of the population are not aware of the discussion we're even having now today together. So what's going to happen is that they have enough marketing powers, decision powers to impose on people their own CBDC. And as he was saying, that would be catastrophic, because even from our own ranks, as he mentioned, not everybody in the blockchain sphere, especially how big mouth as in the Bitcoin space, could literally try to collaborate, but they decided to be a one-sided camp versus another one, and bringing arguments against the other meme cons to destroy actually what the beautiful space that they are building in a decentralized fashion. And that's and my worry is that these kind of things might end up bad, because again, the masses, when a CBDC will be launched, they will think that is a great thing to have. And it will be a centralized mechanism, as you mentioned. And again, you can be unplugged at any given time. You're giving your entire life, money, and everything to this centralized mechanism that will happen. And that's my worry.
It's launched on the closed loop permission.
Exactly.
chain. But that's why it's very important at this point. I don't see that we cannot stop the train, but let us choose the track. Train is on the move, and there's a centralized, permissioned chain, fully controlled, not just our money, but everything that is related to us on that track. And the other track is public blockchain, which allows us to do a lot of things that are decentralized. And if we make politicians to understand, again, not politics for me, but technology and services and fairness, if we make them understand, okay, hey, you want to go to Senate, you want to go to Congress, you want to go to this and that, and maybe president of something, hey, we as voters, we want you to support this because we understand that if you want to go the track A, we're not supporting you. And if we can this kind of message to all these people who are representing us in the political world, we are not talking loud enough. We are too small number of people, more as you said, we're like 1%, whatever. And we need, that's why it's really important as we speak to be loud, to be heard widely and everywhere in the world. This kind of podcast what we have here now is important to be produced.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You have the good things about the country of the Western Hemisphere. I would say they have the freedom of speech with a certain limitation.
Yes.
Definitely, they have. You're still limited in the way. I think the future of this beautiful decentralized vision that we all agree on will come from the global South nation. It will be a blank page nation who has nothing and say we need to build something, and that's what we're going to use.
Yes.
And then the adoption, there will be three factors happening maybe in that realm. Is that, first of all, the dream of giving back things to the people because they start with nothing, starting with their own government.
Yes.
Then you have also the growth of the youth among their population. So you see the global South has a population very young who are aspiring for better future for themselves, and also they technically become the next builders, the next founders. Okay, so I think this will come mostly from the southern nation. I don't know if it's El Salvador is a good example already of it, but it seems that the adoption and what they have been doing has been use cases for many countries to look at, and they keep on doing well. And they might come from Africa, that's my hope, that things will change from those nations. Maybe not necessarily from the US now, because they are blocking even innovation as we speak. So people are getting out of the US, and that could be a trigger for other nations to take advantage, to become more tech focused and welcoming new technology that will enable billions of people to embrace this decentralized way of dealing with our money, particularly.
Yes, it's true. Absolutely.
So, Pekka, we're ready to wrap this up, but I wanted to give you sort of the final word on what trends are you most, I want to say, hopeful about in the Web3 space, and what trends are you most fearful about?
Wow, this is the fearful thing. I'm not so much fearful, but again, maybe I'm a little bit afraid of this meme coin mania, because it gives opportunity to people to scam other people so easily, and we need to understand price and value are not the same thing. So that's why, because I come from, I mentioned a couple of times already on this podcast that I come from the utility and foundation part of this business. And that's why meme coins are, well, if someone starts as a meme coin to get the community and so forth, then they'll further like a couple of, like Shiba Inu and these guys have done. It's different. They are not meme coins. You should separate those from each other. So that's, I'm a little bit afraid of this. But again, if you want to invest in those and get a lot of exposure, get a lot of money, fast money, whatever, but also understand that there will be these rug pulls and honeypot tokens that collecting money and scamming everybody, because it's doable, and that's really bad. But okay, if you're there, you're there. I'm not. But and then of course, that can we really get the traditional businesses, traditional finance be part of that? And again, I'm really hopeful after BlackRock again chose the public blockchain as underlying technology for themselves, or for the first tokenized fund. So that's a trend. It goes towards more decentralized everything, and that's maybe also steps to regulate and license some cryptos even on jurisdictions, wrapped product like Bitcoin ETF. But yeah, so that's how I see it. But when it comes to narratives, RWAs, again, it's a big thing. You're talking about real assets like fiat money, not too much asset for yourself, but they say that it's RWA. But all the other commodities and these kind of things, they come in and they tokenize it and gives faster transactions, and people can be involved with the smaller money on these transactions, and it can be secured on chain. And the technology is already that reach out already, for example, to vault level to understand the changes on there. Again, these Oracle technologies that combine this information off chain to on chain. This technology is there already. The RWAs is very important. Well, this law is not there with us yet, not regulated, not any of them. If people claim that they will have like tokenized properties, no, it's not. It's not by the law. You can buy a flat with Bitcoin or Ethereum, but you need to convert that to fiat money and put on your bank account to close the deal. So that's a system we have, but it's coming now. RWAs, I'm a big believer in RWAs, but the most interesting to me today is DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, and that's something that is happening fast. I'm now playing and joining and using a couple of DePIN platforms that are I'm providing my internet connection, my Wi-Fi, and my speed and everything from my couple of my devices, and they give me coins back when I'm rewarding them. So I'm giving their resources, and they give me back this, and that's something that it's not just internet connection. It can be power, it can be any network there is that can be telecom networks. Everything can be decentralized physical infrastructure, and that you can decentralize these networks, and that's a huge opportunity. That is proceeding fast.
I'm actually very thrilled by what you just said, because you seem to be the individual that wants to bridge technology to the real world. So you want to bridge Web3 to what is the real world. Whereas I think a lot of the original sort of crypto Web3 native degens, they really want to keep it separate. They want everything to be digital, and they want to just, maintain this little world that they've built. But connecting it to the real world, that's where the future is. Would you say that's correct?
This is for people. This is for everybody. This is much important from that perspective than internet is. Internet is owned and managed and controlled by a few people. This can be controlled and owned by everybody. All of us can be part of this. No permission asked. Permissionless network, trustless. We don't need to trust anybody. There's computer code, most advanced, and cryptographically proved everything, verified internet again. Yes.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Pekka. Where can people find you if they want to follow you? What are your preferred channels?
Yeah, right. YouTube is growing a little bit now. It's challenging for me because I don't want to go this price prediction YouTuber camp, because if you want to have 1 million followers, you just said Bitcoin goes this way and that way and this way, and then hundreds of thousands of people are giving you subscription. So I'm an educator. I'm going to do this, continue this way. YouTube is as I said, Web3 education channel by Papa Blockchain, and of LinkedIn is my main channel. So you find me there. I have a little challenge on LinkedIn because LinkedIn allows only 30,000 first liners, but it's continuously full with me. If you want to follow me, followers, I can have as many as can, but I want to also you join as many as possible. You who are into this and want to understand more about this, I remove the old guys who are from like years back, not in this scene. I want to give space to people that are interested in Web3, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, these opportunities. I will replace these guys who are not in the scene yet, and that's why I try to accept as many as possible also on my LinkedIn. But anyways, you can follow me on LinkedIn, my posts, and send me messages there also. So, and YouTube, of course.
And you're based in Dubai now, I guess.
17 years here, yes.
Amazing. Would be great to have you actually on the side. We're managing also. I'm managing myself an event called Off-Chain event. Okay. I think we try to open a chapters also in the UAE. But the off-chain is global. So people who are usually on-chain, finally they're off-chain and meeting physically. And we exchange ideas on blockchain, crypto, focused Web3. And we would love to have you when you visit Riyadh as a speakers, or maybe a fireside chat.
Wow.
I'll send you some of the previous event. And maybe if you visit Riyadh, we'll be happy to have you and talk to the community. We have a very good growing Web3 community here in Riyadh, and we'll be happy to have you one day.
That would be my honor. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and have a great evening. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Pekka.